The tribulations that the Bible speaks of, did they start in 70 AD when Titus invaded Jerusalem and killed over 1 million people by crucifixion until they ran out of trees? The one thing I like about YouTube is that I can interject right in the middle of my TikToks and give you more information about the particular subject. Also, too, you can comment while we're going through this, and I can get a much longer comment, and we can actually have a much better conversation. So I look forward to this. Right here on the map of time, it says that in 70 AD, Titus approaches Jerusalem with an army of 60,000, most horrible suffering since the world began. 1.1 million miserably perish. Men are crucified till wood for crosses is no longer found. 1.1 million men? Well, that's almost as many people that died in the Civil War, World War II, World War I, and Vietnam, all put together. Big map, 23 feet long. Right there, since the world began. Let's go to the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 21. This information comes right out of the notes that I took yesterday when I was making the video about the tribulation and the tribulation period. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be. When I read that one line right there, I remembered what it said on the map of time about, hey, this is the biggest crucifixion and the biggest loss of life in all time. And you know me, since that was verse 21, I'm going to read the whole chapter just to set context for what I'm reading. People need to do a lot more of that. Anytime you tell me a particular verse, I can assure you I'm at least going a couple of verses up and a couple of verses down just to set the context for it. But this whole chapter right here is really great. Nero was the leader of Rome all the way right up to just before 70 AD, where he had committed suicide by stabbing himself in the neck, so it says. And it's funny because you read a lot of things about the Antichrist and how he was going to die of a head wound, and then there were going to people come back and pretend like being the Antichrist, and you can read all kinds of stories about Nero and how there were people that were false Neros and what have you that played the lyre and all like he did. It's an interesting story. Verse 8 right here says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Let's see if these verses right here take us to 70 AD. They literally tied Christians to poles and lit them on fire and called them candles. Roman candles. Read verse 15 with me. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. The abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel in chapter 9 is talking about putting something in the temple that desecrates it. And that's exactly what Nero wanted to do. He wanted to put a statue of Zeus right in the middle of the temple in Jerusalem. And the people just weren't having it. He even had his own people delaying the project, and I don't think that it ever actually came to pass. However, he did have his face and image printed on a coin, and those images weren't allowed to be swapped or traded or given for donations in the temple. You couldn't have the image of a man on your coin. So that was what Jesus was doing when he was flipping over the money changer tables. They were the people that were trying to keep that money from going into the temple because it had the image of a god or a man on it. So they were changing that money for something like a wood chip that they could give to the church and could be taken into the church. So when you took some kind of statue or god in there, an image of a man or a coin like that, it was an abomination of desolation. The abomination of desolation, well, that was a move by Nero when he put a statue of Zeus in the temple. And it says, when you see the abomination of desolation stand in the temple. It says holy place. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Well, he's telling everybody to get out of town. He's also telling them to don't even turn around and pick up your clothes, pick up anything, and get going. When Titus came to town, he crucified 1.1 million men. He also killed the women and children, but they just didn't count them. Right there. Don't even turn around and get your clothes. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor shall ever be. This is also the same period that they believe the Dead Sea Scrolls were all put in the caves and then sealed up because of that huge Roman army that just came in and wiped out everything. 1.1 million people were crucified until they no longer had any wood for crosses. Again, that 1.1 million number, that was only the men. It was the most horrible suffering since the world began. It made me think about that part in Revelation when they said that they had blood up to the horses' bridles. Right there in verse 21, since the beginning of the world. That map of time is right there on my Linktree page. Click on the Amazon button that is right there, and it'll go through to my sections of maps and charts, and it's going to be right there, and then you click that one right over. And since they took away my 10-minute feature, I'm going to chop this tick up and add some more information to it, play it on YouTube. Come check it out. I bet y'all are like, duh, I just watched that. Me and my family love you in Jesus' name, so like and follow the Trumpet for more, and have a blessed day.